Hello everybody and welcome back to Eddzshed. Today we are looking at Caudecus's Manor, Path 1 in Guild Wars 2, and this is going to be a much more to the point and sort of short guide than previous ones I've done, where I'm going to more just explain how to get through things as opposed to forcing you to sit there and actually watch me doing everything in the dungeon, and hopefully this should just make things flow a lot smoother. So we're going to get right into it. Now you'll actually see that I've started this video off at the bit that we are about to start looking for Asura technology and destroying it. This is just because of the way that I joined this particular group, but this was one of the best videos that I've actually got. Previous to this, all you'll have done is you will have selected the path and you will have found somebody called Tariff, and you will have destroyed a damage golem. The group that I'm with has actually done this with just 4 people. There's nothing particularly complicated to that particular boss. You're simply just going to DPS the hell out of it, and that should get it sorted. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to come down here into the cellars, and we're going to start destroying the actual Asura technology. Once again, there isn't a huge amount of strategy to this particular part. You're simply going to want to try and not die. You're going to want to use the doors as well as sort of cover. Make sure to try and stay behind them, sort of almost poke around. You will get, as you can see now, a few sort of corridor fights. Once again, they don't have a huge amount of strategy, and you'll sort of just want to dodge from one room to the next, and that's all there really is to this particular part. This is sort of what I meant by using the doorways as cover. You know, it just it prevents you just from getting ranged, because I think they've got like big cannons down the end of most of the corridors, and they can be a bit of a problem, and they can do a lot of damage to your party if you're not careful. You will find, as you can see now, that there are sort of not bosses, but certainly much more difficult mobs at the end of the sort of corridors that you have to go down while you're destroying this technology. There's once again, there's no huge strategy to it other than DPS and trying to keep yourself alive, and that's pretty much all there is to be said on that matter. This dungeon is thankfully quite straightforward, so there's only a few paths that have more complicated mechanics to it, but we will cover them as we come to it. I'm trying to keep this as to the point as possible. Right, now that we have actually cleared them out, you can see that we're running out of here, and we're going to head towards an area called the barn. I'm going to show you this from us exiting the sort of underground section, just so that you know where you're actually going. I dare say if you're doing this with a party that's even reasonably familiar, they'll be able to show you. Right, now you can see as we enter here, what we're going to do is we're going to try and run in as quickly as possible, and we're going to try and make it up the steps towards the back of the barn. This is because if you try and fight this person down here, a load of ranged mobs from up top are going to appear and basically wipe you out very quickly, and it's going to make the entire battle a lot harder. So if we get up here first, we can finish these before it ever becomes a problem. They go down very quickly, but they do a lot of damage if you're not able to get up there. Once we've cleared these from up here, the common thing to do is any melee classes and builds will run down the steps and start punching the boss in the face, whereas us with range are going to stay at the top and hurl a load of things down onto the boss. Well, I'm going to hurl things, other people might do a bit more pew-pewing if you're a ranger, etc. But it's just a case now of doing plenty of DPS. If you're down on the ground trying to do melee, you're going to want to do a lot of dodge rolling and stuff, because she's going to be throwing, or he is going to be throwing out bombs. You can, as you can see there with the Mesmer using the dome ability, I'm not entirely sure what it's called anymore, you can reflect them back at the boss, and also Guardians can use your reflective wall ability to throw the abilities back at the boss. Right, so the boss has gone down, and basically we're going to next run on to kill yet another boss. We're going to do it by running up through here. This is very much now going to just funnel you towards towards the boss. Right, yeah, so this next bit we're going to be stacking up into the corner here. Trying to do plenty of AoE to damage them. There's also going to be a lot of AoE on the floor to damage us though. So just keep your wits about you, make sure that you dodge roll in at the correct time. If you see, as you probably could see around my character then, a red mark going around you, you're probably going to want to start dodging, trying to get back behind the cover, because that means that you're sort of marked for a very powerful attack that can almost one-shot, I think, anybody. I'm not sure, it certainly one-shots me, but I haven't got as much health as many classes, so I'm not sure it works for a warrior, but it's certainly a pain in the ass, and you don't want to be getting hit with it. So now we're down here, we got another boss. This one is actually going to teleport to your location, so what you will do is, once you're able to attack her, you're all going to jump and run down into I suppose her little bedroom section, and this is because she will stack, or you can all stack here, and she will keep appearing at the same place, and you can just DPS the hell out of her. If you spread out, you run the risk of her appearing behind certainly one of the weaker party members, and almost one-shotting them, taking them out certainly very, very quickly. Right, so she goes down pretty quickly with just as much damage, if you're just doing as much damage as you possibly can to her. There's no huge strategy, as I say there, to it. Just make sure that you get into that room and you stack by the closet. That's the quickest way to do it. This next bit is the bit I was on about earlier, where you're actually going to be running. And something to bear in mind here is this isn't just about running, because you will not be able to completely lose the mobs. You are going to get aggro, even if you're using the Mesmer sort of invisibility skills and the Thief's ones. You're still going to get aggro, and people are going to continue to follow you right down into this little room that we're going to run into. That's why it's important you make sure to drop into this room. You can see me realise that I've gone the wrong direction here, turn around and go back into the correct room. That awkward moment when I do it wrong. And as you can see, lots of other things are now following us into here. With a sufficient use of AoE damage, we are able to take all of these out very reasonably quickly, and with no real problem. From here we'll move on to do the final boss as well. Right, so this little bit as well is going to be the final section that we're going to have to skip. We're going to put a fair bit of invisibility on us to actually get past this, and we are then going to actually fight the main boss, as I say. This is one of the sections that if we run far enough we will lose all the aggro, so we don't have to worry about trying to stack somewhere to kill them. So yeah, you come down here towards the very back of the cave, and you will drop all the aggro. Nothing's going to follow you this far back. If it does, I suppose you can kill it, but it really shouldn't be necessary. Right, so here we go. We're going to fight this main boss. What we tend to do is try and stack up here. I was having a little bit of trouble getting up there for no real reason other than complete and utter ineptitude. But as I say, we'll tend to stack here, and we will just do as much damage as possible. What can be a bit of a challenge, and one of the reasons that you'd want to try and stay stacked up here, is these golems that appear. As I say, I was struggling just getting started to even get up there to stack. So I've had to do a fair bit of sort of dodging around towards the bottom, but there's nothing particularly challenging to this boss. You can see that in the time that I've tried to explain what we need to do, he's pretty much already dead. And there we go, that concludes it. That is path 1 of Caudecus's Manor. And it's, as you can see, it's a very simple path. It's very easy. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll like and subscribe. And also, if you feel that this one's been perhaps a bit too short, because I am concerned of perhaps going too far the other way. My previous videos were perhaps a bit too much, a bit too rambly. Please let me know. Hopefully, we can get this. I can get my technique for doing these quite refined by the time that we come to do sort of a Ra, and then after we've completed all of the dungeons, I can come back and perhaps redo some of the ones that need a bit of improvement. So yeah, I will see you around.